one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
This is Discover Crypto. Thank you for joining. Every day on this channel, we teach you how to make money with digital assets. I'm your host, DZ, so please smash that like as you come on in. And today's top story is going to be what is going on with Bitcoin. We're seeing a fresh dump, but what two altcoins are going to be poised for victory in the incoming months? And we're going to talk about my personal opinion and CryptoFace. He is actually talking about these two altcoins as well. And we maybe even throw in a third one. Thank you for joining and looking at the chat here. We got the Disco fam feeling very, very active. And you're wondering maybe about last night's video. So if I could share this real quick. YouTube did not like last night's video. I know we said we're going to talk about the Fed controlling your money. Now, I did play a clip, and maybe it was the clip that they did not like, but, you know, maybe talking about how the dollar is broken put us on a little bit of a higher radar there. So I'm going to refilm it today, and I'm going to voice over some of the audio sections that maybe had an issue. So if you're wondering about last night's video, that is what's going on. We didn't forget about you, Disco fan. We do make content 7 days a week. Just want to make sure you guys are involved and abreast of the situation here. But really what we got to do is look at crypto and look at the Bitcoin chart right now. This is a 5-minute chart, and you can see we just put in a fresh low. This is a slightly lower than the dump that we saw this morning. This was around 7 a.m., and you can see the 5-minute candles just coming down, creating a lower low. But you zoom out, you can see we are still above the range that was established yesterday. This was the range yesterday. A lot of people got some longs in. Hopefully you closed them, because the leverage machine is trying to wash you out, everybody. Now, if we go to maybe a 1 hour view, I'm going to tell you exactly what these purple rectangles mean. There's several of them, and they have a large impact on Bitcoin's price, on where they go each and every week. And again, I want to give a shout out to CryptoFace for pointing out something, because something happens every single Monday following specific actions on the weekend. And we're going to get into that. And of course, I'm not talking about, ladies and gentlemen, the weekend, the singer with the funny hair. No, we're talking about the markets, low liquidity on the weekends. We can telegraph the next move on Monday. So now that we're revealing it, maybe it's going to do the opposite next week. But let's look at the charts here. You can see Bitcoin flat as a pancake, flat as Tether, flat as a stable coin. But ETH is up slightly. ETH is up 0.6%. Let's zoom in a little bit. Ooh, we see XRP down a little bit. BNB and Solana also down, about 2.5%, 3% here. Dogecoin down about 3%. Tron doing quite well here. Tron is up 4% on this red day, and Cardano down about 2% here. Looking for any major moves. Nothing in the top 20, top 30, except Shiba Inu, is bleeding a little bit here. Pepe bleeding even more, is down 6.3%, and Tau down about 4.6%. Let's look at the big movers and shakers. Now, everybody, I need you to smash the like button. I heard a rumor. I heard a little birdie in a tree said, once you smash the like button and then DZ hits the top gainers, your altcoin, your favorite altcoin, your biggest bag is going to teleport to the top of this list. So go ahead and get that button press in. Felt the power. And it's Conflux. Conflux, a lot of people call this the Chinese Ethereum. Boiler, just quick assessment here. There's going to be different coding languages, and just think of the Chinese Ethereum not using Solidity. I think it does have some Solidity capabilities there, but coding primarily in a different language there. It would make sense. There's over 1 billion people speaking Cantonese and Chinese, and so they need another coin to code smart contracts. We got Tron up 4.3%. Crow token holders, I know you're feeling excited, and shout out to Crypto Crow. I'm going to shoot a message to Crypto Crow today. We try to get him on the show maybe this week, if not early next week. Flares up, and after that, we just see kind of ETH holding on strong here. Now, a lot of people talking about 116,500 back into support. Thank you, Crypto Crank, $2 super chat. We're going to go into the Bitcoin charts right after we reveal the two altcoins. Big losers, though. Oh, man, bonk holders just got bonked. They are no longer feeling a lot of profits here. It's down 12.7%, and Athena had a good week, had a great month, had a day here. It is down 11%. Pengu is down 7.7%. Hopefully you didn't, full port in at the top there. Sky is up. Jupiter, down 7.7. Jupiter is down, and SUI is down, and that thing is down nasty. And we may have just opened a long. I did open a SUI long just a little bit, but we went a little crazy with the leverage. We are doing 40x just because we want to feel something. And I didn't do a whole lot of capital, obviously. Very, very risky leverage there. It just felt like that liquidity level had been swept. So wanted to test the metal in the markets. Didn't catch the exact bottom. I'm like, should I just close this and just, pull off the steak lunch? We like to just have a little fun time where we could kind of telegraph the markets, but maybe we'll do that. But let's talk about the dump. What the hell is the dump all about? And we're going to talk about the two altcoins after. Aaron Disher, I think is his last name. You may know him. Oh, Dishner. He's not a disher. He is dishing up the hot takes, but he's the Dishner. Dishner, he births other dishers. Aaron Disher, you may know him as Moon and Papa. Really good thesis here, and he's got the data to back it up. So we don't trust here. We verify in the Disco fam, so we're going to verify ourselves. But the main reason we saw Bitcoin, with a little bit of some pain, it was the trade deal. Now, obviously, the trade deal, people didn't like what they saw, but the trade deal did seem kind of positive. Then there was the tariffs on the rest of the world, but the markets obviously didn't like it. But what market was reigning supreme? It was the DXY market. So this caused the DXY to rise 1%, causing pain to the European USD trading pair, but more importantly, the BTC USD trading pair. And so the dollar gained strength. So that means other currencies, including Bitcoin, that lost a little strength relative to the dollar. And so you can see the moment the Trump press conference happens. This is the DXY zooming out. DXY has obviously been, a little bit of a tailspin here. I think this is January. Yeah, this is going to be January 25, just bleeding and losing value. Red DXY candles, meaning the dollar's strength relative to other currencies lowering, is good for Bitcoin. And so seeing that Trump press conference, basically create a lot of positive pressure for the markets, is going to be negative pressure for Bitcoin. And so if you're wondering what is the relationship, a strong dollar seems like that's good, right? Oh, I could buy more. No, it's going to be, it's basically making Bitcoin weaker in relation. I had a family member asking me about that. Like, well, why is the dollar being bad good for Bitcoin? It's like, once you understand that, you understand everything. All right, let's get into some of the chats, and we'll talk about this Bitcoin metric pointing out two altcoins here. DXY, suck it. I would agree. There's also, forget his last name, but a guy created a new vacuum cleaner, and he sold the technology to the military. His son's a drummer. Let's see, DXY on ETH as DGens index 6,900. All right. Uppity, as Drew says. Ooh, what the heck is Mamo? It is a hotter altcoin. Maybe we'll talk about some Mamo a little bit later on. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. And someone's saying SUI had a major unlock. All right. Well, that is a thing that happens. We do talk about the SUI unlocks. They do have some long distant unlocks, which is good compared to a lot of altcoins, kind of like Solana. There's some unlocks in like 29. There's some unlocks in 2031. And so that's going to be incentives for a lot of these whales to pump this token for years and years and years. Can you look at Filecoin? It's really bad for me right now. You're in a meme coin and things are going to get bad. We'll look at Fart and guess on the total crypto market cap in 2025. Well, let's go to CoinGecko here. You can see the total market cap right now, 4 trillion. And I do like that, just easy, even round number, 10 trillion. That's kind of the number we've been saying here for a while, give or take a trillion. Maybe it's 9 trillion, maybe it's 11 trillion, but I think a $10 trillion market cap in 2025 is very, very doable. Now you're saying Filecoin, you're feeling the shart. It was, you weren't sure if you should let it out. You did. It was wet. You're ruined. Your pants are ruined. Your car seat's gone. You have just been sharded out of the markets here. Now, looking at the market cap, yeah, that's a significant pullback here. Price, we see the same thing. This is the AI token kind of released all at once. Let's go to the 7-day. A lot of fart profits being taken here. Pretty much red on all the metrics, but only down 5% for the last month. So again, as long as you didn't full port the top, you're doing pretty good. Down 5% for 30 days. Shiba Inu down. Oh, it's up 14%. Oh, uh-oh. And the other large meme coin, Doge. It is up 36. So it looks like some of the majors are taking back some of the basically the money from the smaller caps. And I would say Filecoin is one of those smaller caps here. I could do I could do you a solid here. We could do a solid. Let's look at Filecoin. That was the DXY. Filecoin. We'll just see if, are we getting some bullish divergences on some of these larger time frames? Not really. Maybe on the 1 hour. Yeah. Okay. So we got some bull divs on the 1 hour. This candle is going to end in 13 minutes. So let's go to the 30-minute candle. We still want to see this turn. I would like to see this, at least horizontal, if not, moving to the upside there. So maybe we see it on the 20-minute. Okay, we see a little bit of curvature showing a little bit of strength in the RSI here. So maybe that's going to be a local bottom. Although I don't like seeing the RSI only turn around on the 20. Want to see a little bit more confirmation here. Maybe the 30-minute, maybe the 4 hour. Going to the daily. I mean, this token was doing very well. So, this could be a pretty unhealthy pullback, but, maybe just a pullback. It did pump 100. It doubled in a month. And so now you're losing some of those gains. We looked, was it down 14% over the last 30 days? Really not the end of the world. And that's honestly, it looks like it caught a high wick. So it might be green on the 30-day just because Filecoin is so volatile. It's essentially where it was 30 days. But because Filecoin has such wild swings, it looks like you're down 14%. Wouldn't worry too much about Filecoin. You shouldn't have too much wealth invested in the meme coins anyways. And I've long said, if you're going to have like a decent percentage of your portfolio in a meme coin, you probably should buy Doge because it's going to have the best downside protection. If you look at Dogecoin in the Bitcoin price charts here, this is Dogecoin compared to Bitcoin. Yeah, we had a pretty good pump. Maybe come down, retest this trend line. But if you play the market right, you increase your Bitcoin stash by 60% in about a month there. So Doge is going to have the best downside protection. Let's get into Bitcoin, and then we'll talk about the two altcoins, including two that crypto face is saying is about to have some green candles. I would say big shout out to Marcus Cypher. Big shout out to Crypto Face, favorite trader. Bitcoin, Jason Casper is great too. Bitcoin Bollinger Bands, the tightest since February. We've talked about the Bollinger Bands before. We'll, do a brief description here, but the Bollinger Bands are the tightest it's been in about 5-6 months. And so we're seeing some consolidation between this 116 and 120 area. And now we're refocusing on the Bollinger Bands. They have now tightened to levels last seen before the February explosion. The salt prices dropped from 95 to 80 within days. A lot of people got wrecked there. Now, tighter bands indicate the market is coiling up and building energy for a big move in either direction. Bollinger Bands, in case you're wondering, are volatility bands placed 2 standard deviations above and below the 20-day simple moving average. I think we have a graphic here for it. Yeah, so Bollinger Bands, you can see the line, the deviation above, deviation below this 20-day moving average. The tighter it is, the bigger the move. Looking at February, it looks like we got a little, right there. We got real tight at the tail end of February. It led to a large dump. I like to describe Bollinger Bands as a spring. The tighter you coil a spring, the more it's going to shoot out with a lot of kinetic energy. Sound like a dork there. The more it's going to shoot out and pop you in the eye. And so as we get that Bollinger Band really tight, that is essentially just squeezing a lot of volatility to make a major move. Looking at this, that is a freakishly tight Bollinger Band. Looks like, I don't want to say significantly tighter than what we're seeing here, but we've been very, very flat for a long time. Bollinger Bands are setting up for a major move. And I would predict probably going to exceed this February tightness. So we might be looking at, about a year or so. So break below 116. It's going to be the downside explosion. That's going to, maybe we'll look at the support level around 111, 112. But a move to the upside probably gives us new all-time highs if it resolves bullishly. Now, if anyone that could predict it 100% accuracy rate, they'd be a trillionaire. They'd be a billionaire. So no one knows for sure, but we can kind of gauge and we can kind of use our sentiment. I am leaning bullish. Now, this is screaming to the downside, said Crypto Crank. Potentially, but I would be careful when too many people feel that way. That's when the markets are going to punish you. When too many people are certain that it's going to go to 110, that's when the bears get wrecked. That's when the bears get slaughtered. And then that's when the bulls are going to be in control. And that's when we're going to see violent moves to the upside there. All right, so let's get closer to the two altcoins. It is a hot, fresh video. We got that hot off the take here 1 hour ago. Go watch this video. Go watch Crypto Face's edited videos. His streams are great. The edited videos, maybe even better. He points out 2 altcoins that are about to pump hard in 2 days. Those 2 altcoins, ETH and SUI. That's right. He is predicting SUI. Now, I'm not going to tell you why. You got to go watch his video. He talks about this market cipher, talks about a lot of the money flow indicators here. Watch his video if you want to see his thesis on ETH and SUI. But, sometimes, oh my God, I should have just closed it. We're shrinking, folks. We're shrinking. We're about to be in the negative. We'll keep it open, though, because we're degens. All right, so let's get into ETH. I agree with the ETH. I agree with SUI. But I have 2 different ones. I do think SUI is going to do well, but I have ETH and a different altcoin. I'll talk about it right after this. SUI, I think we got a lot of SUI. Are they sweetards? We can't say that, right? I can't say that. I'm not supposed to say that. Strike that one from the record. We did not say that one. They're Suisans, like citizens. They're Suis, like they're in the Kentucky back hills with the pig. I don't know. I don't know what they are. SUI, $12. Let's see here. By Ondo, Link, and SUI. Those are 3 good altcoins. I do like those altcoins. Let's see here. Miss bags early, so trade and pray. Just sometimes buying spot and holding on and being patient is the best strategy, folks. If you got too much degen blood in you, that could be the way to go. You could tell who got hurt trading. Probably all of us in the beginning. That's why you need to do very, very small amounts. That's why I'm just kind of trading with some very, very small amounts. But ETH, we got the ETF's accumulation. 1.28 million just in July. This is kind of just showing the monthly order books. This is a massive spike. This is insane. This is actually very, very bullish. This is screaming bullishness. But we're not talking about, you see this July candle for ETF's accumulation. Might not play out until September, October, November. But trust me when I say, the laws of supply and demand are going to basically come to fruition. And we got other people, historically, basically the year after the halving, huge gains in August. Now we're a year after the halving year. It was 2024. It was 2020. It was 2016. Let's look at 21 and 2017. And we'll look at 2025. We're about to get into it. 2021 was a 35% pump. 2017, 92% pump just in the month of August. We're not talking about the whole year. If history repeats, we should have a very green August. I'm a little bit leery about some of this. Oh, let's follow these monthly candles. Oh, well, every April's good. It seems a little smooth brain to me. It seems a little, but I had breakfast this morning. But I will say in a post-halving year, 3 in a row, it would be unlikely maybe. I know it's a little gambler's fallacy here, but I am feeling a little bit bullish for August. Downside could be we did get a really good green July. Green July led to a red month. But we had a green July in this halving year. And if you look right here, this one was negative this halving year. So it's going to be hard to tell. But August, historically bullish for post-halving years, folks. Now let's get into the other ETH narrative. Trump bought more. Trump bought more ETH 23 hours ago. Where LibertyFi has now 77,000 ETH. So Donald Trump is bullish on ETH. Him and his sons, they can't stop buying it. And then we got Peter Thiel. His ETH treasury firm is about to repurchase $1 billion in their shares following board approval. Now, this isn't directly buying Ethereum, but this is creating buy pressure for the stock. As there's buy pressure for the stock, that's when you see more debt instruments. We'll get a little, maybe I don't want to bore you guys with the debt instruments, but it's probably worth mentioning. The debt instruments are going to create more buy pressure, more powder on the sidelines there, more purchasing power for ETH. And so the stock does well. That gives them more fuel to buy some ETH here. So they're going to buy more. The firm has significant ETH and Bitcoin reserves. ETH holdings are now 2.35 billion. And to me, this is the Michael Saylor MicroStrategy ETH strategy company. There's SharpLink out there. There's Joseph Lubin. There's other investment firms trying to get this ETH treasury strategy. They want to be like Strategy with their Bitcoin reserve strategy. But there's probably only going to be room for one MicroStrategy. I don't know how many Bitcoin as a treasury companies the market can support. I do know the more that there are, the less attractive it is for investors. ETH is probably just going to have one major winner. BitMine is going to be that winner. I'll tell you why. So is one backed by Peter Thiel. I'm I'm gonna do a little describer of Peter Thiel. I got to be a little bit careful here. We don't want to get too deboosted. Maybe smash that like, help us out here. But Peter Thiel, is essentially behind BitMine. I also have Kathy Wood's ARK Invest behind this. So their board of directors has authorized a stock repurchase program of $1 billion. This allows the company to buy back their common shares through open market purchases and negotiated deals, OTC deals. Now, Tom Lee, the chairman and founder and CIO of Fundstrat, said the move is part of their strategy to have 5% of the total ETH supply. A lot of people say that's essentially what MicroStrategy wants. Right now, they're right at 3%. So they're 60% of the way to getting to 5%. Now, BitMine is the largest corporate holder of ETH, 625,000 ETH, 2.4 billion, and it's a NASDAQ stock exchange listed firm. And they also have a couple hundred Bitcoin. Well, let's get into Peter Thiel. All right, this one's a little risky. So Peter Thiel is backing JD Vance, and Peter Thiel is behind BitMine. And so JD Vance is going to be the presumptive nominee in 2028. Let's just assume that's going to be a given. We're not trying to predict he's going to win, he's going to lose, but I think it's a safe assumption that he is going to be the Republican nominee. That's only 3 years from now. They're going to start campaigning 2.5 years from now. This is a lot sooner than we think. So how did Peter Thiel back JD Vance? Peter Thiel is behind JD Vance. I'm not going to go so far as to say JD is a Peter Thiel puppet, but other people do say that. Why? Well, they met all the way back in 2011. Thiel met him at Yale Law School. Thiel gave a talk that Vance described as the most significant moment of his time there. He met his wife, by the way. Went through a lot of hardship with his family, but that was the most significant moment. Then he was employed at Mithril Capital. Yes, Peter Thiel loves Lord of the Rings. Mithril is the armor, the elven armor, if I'm not mistaken. Thiel hired Vance at his venture capital firm. So Thiel met him at Yale Law School and gave JD Vance, our current vice president, his first job ever. Gave him a start in Silicon Valley. Not his first, but his first major job out of college. Then Thiel gave him money for JD Vance's own venture capital firm. It's also connections to the book, also connections to the movie. This doesn't get into that, but JD Vance had an image before he went into the Senate. Thiel was significantly behind that image. Thiel was also his most prominent financial backer during his Senate run. Also, his network gave him access to JD Sachs and other large VC players. And it was a major, major reason Trump chose JD Vance, whom Vance had previously criticized. So he advocated for his vice president role. So we have the guy literally behind our current vice president, presumptive nominee. He is super bullish on Ethereum. Now, does this mean a Vance administration is going to be bullish on ETH? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's exactly what I'm saying. We could call it collusion, or we're just trying to, make sure America stays an innovator in the crypto space. It all ends up being the same thing at the end of the day. Thank you for my big soapbox stand there. I'm reading Mithril save the elves, big tree. All right, yeah, Mithril, good armor. I would buy some Mithril in a heartbeat. I would rock a Mithril gold chain or silver chain there. Don't fade the dwarves. They did the Mithril work. Oh, he's right. It was actually the dwarven armor. The dwarves are best at metallurgy, of course, as long as it doesn't have magic involved. I'm not going to say he's a Manchurian candidate. I don't think JD Vance could be like, I was going to say some crazy words, but no, I don't think he's going to activate Vance by any means, but you're going to look out for the person that maybe looked out for you. And that's just human nature. It's called the power of reciprocity. It's just common thing you see in human beings. All right, let's get into my second. So ETH, me and CryptoFace agree. Obviously, that's going to be the thing that pumps. CryptoFace saying sweet. I would agree with that one. But I have another altcoin. It's one we've talked about before it passed. Aave. I just saw something very bullish on Aave. The people who are well connected. This guy is a part of Lido DAO. Lido DAO, in case you don't know, is the largest I didn't know what I was going to click on there for a second. It's the largest synthetic ETH out there. So it's fake ETH. Some would call it. Someone says, oh, no, it's just wrapped. It's basically the same thing. It's not ETH, but is the largest synthetic asset. In fact, it is the 8th largest crypto asset. Lido staked Ether has a very, very large market. I mean, it's bigger than Doge. It's bigger than Tron. It's bigger than Cardano. And so this guy connected to the largest DeFi protocol out there, more so, I mean, except maybe you count Tether, but the largest DeFi protocol, Lido staked ETH, he is now borrowing cash from Aave. And what is he doing with this cash? He's buying ETH. So the man is borrowing money to buy ETH. He's not using his money. He's borrowing money. The most connected DeFi man in the world, or part of the team that is, seeing the on-chain metrics, seeing the whale activity, seeing what the JD Vance consortium is doing here. He is long on ETH so much he's borrowing. He's borrowing to go long on ETH. Now, is this guy the world's best ETH trader? Probably not. That's Justin Sun in 2021. But I would say this is a very, very bullish indicator for Ethereum. It's a very bullish indicator for Aave, being that Lido uses Aave, or LibertyFi uses Aave. Aave is essentially the backbone of DeFi, so I would not sleep on Aave, folks. So that's my two altcoins. We still got a lot of crazy stories, folks, including one that I don't know if I should tease it, man. Should I tease it? All right, we're gonna maybe talk about. I got some interesting things on XRP. I'll mention FaZe Banks and Aiden Ross. We're not going to get into that story, but also something major with an AI agent. And what's going on with this AI agent play? It bought an NFT. The market's going nuts there. So yeah, Peter Thiel, big money behind it. All right, now we also have Jim Cramer said live on CNBC. Let's talk a little Bitcoin here, then we'll get to those other alts. Bitcoin is a hedge against the U.S. becoming Weimar Germany, or Weimar Germany, if you're really red and black pilled there. This is absolutely wild. Now, Jim Cramer, some might call him the reason we dumped. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I'm not going to get into this whole video here. But what is the deal with Weimar Germany? How bad was Weimar Germany's inflation rate? It is a lot worse than you ever surmise. It is a lot worse than what we saw in South America. It is I think, Argentinian peso. I think it was called the peso. This is about the world's worst inflation we've ever seen. When you've heard stories of wheelbarrows of cash to buy one loaf of bread, its original foundation came from Germany. Now, I love history so much, and I'm fascinated by that period of history. I don't want to get too much into it, but after World War I, Treaty of Versailles harmed the German economy. They were basically having to pay reparations for a lot of their enemies within World War I. And some might say that the bankers bankrupted the nation. I don't want to get into, I wasn't there, but, that's kind of, a lot of people think that way. So hyperinflation in Germany, particularly in 1923, was extreme. The monthly, we're not talking about annual, monthly inflation rate, 30,000 in October 23, with prices doubling every 3.7 days. Let me say that again. That gallon of milk, the price doubled every 3.7 days, essentially quadrupled every week. You see that gallon of milk could be $1 on Friday. You get paid the same amount. Your paycheck's the same. You go to the store the next week, it's now $4. The price doubled every 3.7 days. That is insane. And by November 23, it was 4.2 trillion German marks to $1. For context, a loaf of bread that costs 160 marks, we're not talking about a 1922, it went from 160 to 200 billion by the end of the next year. We're not talking about like a decade. We're not talking about a century. Why? Massive money printing to cover war reparations, government deficits exacerbated by the French occupation of the Ruhr, which crippled industrial output. They basically stole a lot of countries stole a lot of land out of Germany there. So that is a very, very scary scenario. And Jim Cramer, I know he's wrong all the time, but just to have him even suggest that the US dollar is, kind of like that one place that had 30,000% inflation, probably a good sign to buy some Bitcoin, folks. So there you go, little history lesson there. All right, fail hard nation. Now, talk about what happened to reduce the inflation. They did redo their currency, and their currency was not backed by gold. It was backed by human labor. And so if you did 8 hours of work building an Autobahn section, you would then get 8 hours work of wages, and your wages were quote unquote backed by the labor there. I'm not going to talk about the other guy. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you folks? This isn't a Nick Fuentes stream, but yeah, it's a very, very fascinating situation. If you're into Bitcoin, looking at what happened in Germany in the 1920s, obviously there's going to be a lot of disenfranchised men in that nation around the time. And then, maybe that led to some pretty terrible things happening later on. No. The other guy. No, don't put words in my mouth, Techno Goody. All right, now second Crypto Face post. We won't show him again. Shout out to Crypto Face. Maybe I'll show him a third time. This is now the fourth consecutive weave. We have a crypto pump on the weekend to sell off into Monday. What do we do on this channel? We don't trust, we verify. Was it backed by proof of work? Was that the original POW currency? But not for prisoner of war. Those are other people. Those were the Bolsheviks. Anyways, let's talk about this right here. So this is showing when we dump on the weekend, we pump on a Monday. But if we pump on the okay, so pump on the weekend, dump on a Monday. If we dump on the weekend, maybe we pump on a Monday. That's what Crypto Face is saying. He's saying it's happened multiple weeks in a row. Well, we don't trust, we verify here. Dang it. And so what I did is 12-hour candles, Saturday opening, Saturday close, Sunday opening, Sunday close. So I got 4 12-hour candles marked out every single time. So this weekend, we pumped, then we dumped on a Monday. Okay. Last weekend, we pumped. We had a little spike early Monday, and then we dumped on a Monday. This is Monday evening. So we were flying high at 2 a.m. Sunday night, and then we dumped on a Monday. A little baby pump, and then we dumped on a Monday. Pumping on the weekend, dumping on a Monday. And then I was like, all right, well, let's go back. He went to 4, does match that thesis. We pump on the weekend, we dump on a Monday. But I also happen to notice, oh, well, the 2 before that, this one maybe not a dump, but we dumped on a weekend, pumped on a Monday, dumped on a weekend, pumped on a Monday. So now that people are talking about this, it's going to do the opposite. This is something to pay attention to, though. Maybe it does play out another week or two. I think I'm sharing it with you. CryptoFace shared it to his audience. More and more traders are going to be talking about this. Now, maybe it's a counter signal, but it is something I did want to put on your radar, because if we see maybe some bearishness Sunday night, maybe it's going to play out again, folks. Maybe it's going to play out again. Face is such a nerd. Is that his World of Warcraft plan? Cool guy. Helped me out with buying a gold bracelet back in 2021. I traded 1 ETH for 1 gold bracelet. ETH would later fall 75% as gold, quadruple. Now ETH is getting backed up to 4K, but still don't regret that decision. Now, like I said about last night's video, I'm going to reshoot it. I know a lot of you, where's the video? We got taken down. I think I played about a minute straight of Ray Dalio's Changing World Order video, just talking about what happened with the Fed, 1971, just talking about, the going off the gold standard. So I'm going to refilm it. I had a clip from Ray Dalio. Also, I had a clip from Brian Armstrong's recent podcast with Sean Ryan. So maybe I'll talk over this one again. So expect that video coming out tonight. Just YouTube didn't like it, folks. But if you want to help us fight the YouTube overlords, smash that like, help us out, and make sure you're following this channel, because we're bringing you alpha 7 days a week. Now back to Bitcoin here. What kind of buyer pressure are we expecting over the next few weeks? Significant, huge amounts. We have the numbers. MicroStrategy, potentially 21,000 Bitcoin. They have that Stark. Remember, it's like the $100 stable coin. This is basically equity or, debt instruments there that's going to be pegged close to $100. So they're going to raise a bunch of money. That might buy 21,000. Marathon. We're going to talk about Marathon in a second. They might buy 8,000. We have another 6,500, 6,500, 4,200, 6,500, 13,000 Bitcoin. So we might see significant buying pressure in the first half of August here. Now, back to Marathon here. They have $6 billion worth of Bitcoin. They just raised another billion. They said we need $7 billion. Why? 7's a lucky number there. Here is Marathon CEO Fred Thiel, not related to Peter Thiel. All right. There's no relation between Fred Thiel and Peter Thiel. It's just a very powerful last name, I guess. So Marathon completed their $1 billion offering of 0% convertible senior notes due in 2032. What the is a convertible senior note? Many of you are going to be wondering here. It's a type of corporate debt issue with specific characteristics. Why would they want 0% yield? That seems like a stupid thing to buy. Oh, I don't want 0 yield. Well, they can be converted into predetermined number of the common stock shares at the bondholder's discretion, typically before or at maturity. And so if the stock pumps, you get to trade this in for more expensive stock, essentially. Or you can just wait to get your money back. Or, the stock's going up, so I'm going to put it in the stock there. That's why you end up getting that kind of a little bit of a positive feedback loop. Now, Marathon has long championed the Bitcoin focused treasury strategy, opting to accumulate rather than sell its mined Bitcoin. They now have about 50,000 Bitcoin, making them the second largest Bitcoin holder among public companies. And as far as public companies, probably been my worst performing stock. Our Tesla's been crushing it, Coinbase, Hood, Palantir. But yeah, the Marathon, I just can't sell it because I know it's going to pump soon. Right? It has to pump eventually here. I think it's going to pump eventually here. Now let's talk about some of this sell pressure. So we talked about what's buying here. Yeah, Chainlink's going to explode. We got a lot of things about to explode here. Has OTC run out yet? What the F? That's what this next story is going to talk about in a second here. CryptoFace lives in an anime. The only anime he would live in is he has a death note for the Bears, and he writes down the Bears name, and then his trade goes well. I got different YouTube accounts for different crypto info. I'm your ADA research info. I don't know if I have a Cardano story, but maybe I'll just talk about Cardano at the end of the stream here. I got some things to say here. Rebooting fits already. I'm already recycling content. Jeez, man. We're supposed to do that during the bear market, not during the bull market here. Let's see. CryptoFace, the only character that could have anxiety in it. He seems like the opposite of anxiety. It takes steel nerves to trade at the level that he trades. And so I don't get the vibes of anxiety when I watch his stuff. You said we're going a lot lower. We went from 80 below 60 for a brief second. He said we wouldn't get a new all-time high in 2021. So, but he is a great trader as well. Litecoin might fight Starly grow. We got a Litecoin ETH or Litecoin ETF story. How's optimism? It's pumped a little bit lately, but I do think it's going to do very, very well. A lot of people love the tech. They love that optimism tech, the OP stack, they call it here. And I want you to stack some likes, by the way. Galaxy Digital, let's talk about a sell pressure now. Shuffles an additional $500 million in Bitcoin. Some more sell-off incoming, potentially. They got 3,700 Bitcoin that they moved earlier today. Most of the assets sent directly to exchanges. Probably means they're going to sell. Probably means we're going to dump, right? Oh, I didn't mean to click on it. Maybe not so fast. Why? Because they executed the sale of 80,000, making it one of the largest Bitcoin transactions ever recorded. So we absorbed 80,000 from the Bitcoin OGs. We absorbed 50,000 from Germany. We can absorb 3,700 as well. As previously reported, they still have 18,000. We can absorb that with about 12,000 untouched and associated whale wallets. While the firm has yet to comment on the latest transfers, who is it? Who's the whale? Where'd you get it from? Is it Roger Ver? Is it Hal Finney's wife? They're being silent. The fresh round of fund movements now suggests that the selling, though, may not be done, pointing a potential continuation of the same liquidation trend. Now, the 80,000 were mostly sold through secondary markets and OTC deals, limiting the direct pressure. So they would probably do the same. I don't think they're just going to dump a whole bunch of Bitcoin, the 18,000 on your head there. They're going to use a sophisticated pattern. Otherwise, the whale wouldn't want to use them in the future. Like, why would I sell you my coins when you're just going to dump it? And so are they helping clients sell Bitcoin again? Transferred out the 3,700. So if you see this, don't get too freaked out at the 447 million. Don't start just, turbo opening shorts. Although maybe it's the move, depending on how the market's moving here. Let's see. How is Bitcoin doing at the 5 minute? Ooh, and that SUI's probably liquidated. That's why we did a small amount. I'll have to close. We're just gonna have to cut and run on this one, ain't we? We're gonna have to cut and run. Oh wait, we're in the green. Oh, had me. All right, never mind. I was fooled. I thought for sure that trade was going to be in the negative. All right. Hey, smash that likes if you like a profitable trade. I know I do. All right, now let's talk about Coinbase buying streak snaps. Are the bulls losing control? And this is just consistent Bitcoin accumulation. It's officially ended, and it was the longest in history. This has some interesting data when it comes to the mega whales. And so you see different metrics for this: a turtle, that's a fish, you're a barracuda, you're a shark, You're a jellyfish. You're a whale. You're a mega whale. So you hear different terms, but the terms they're using here, whale, 1 to 10,000. It's a freaking whale, right? That's a whale. But they have mega whales over 10,000, and they're doing not what you expect. So let's see here. What the heck are they doing? So according to Look On Chain, the hodler net position change has remained within the negative zone for 3 weeks. And so people are selling the Coinbase Bitcoin here. But at the time of writing, overall long-term holders have offloaded 133,000 Bitcoin, more than they accumulated. Who are some of these long-term holders? How about that ancient Bitcoin whale? 80,000 Bitcoin. So, I mean, that's 80 of the 133. Still a lot. Hodler levels have changed significantly. This is long-term. That guy was the king of diamond hands. Yeah, Bitcoin was 37 cents. He sold at 100K. Legend, absolute legend. But the long-term whales are dumping. So what's going on here? Well, the whales and retail wallets are showing strength as others retreat. And so the whale, the 1 to 10K, we're looking at the exchange balance metric, negative 63,000. And so these are fewer whale deposits and more self-custody. And so these are whales taking it to an exchange. That is lower. Meanwhile, mega whale exchange balance also declined. So when whale deposits into exchanges dip, meaning there's less deposits from these mega whales or regular whales, it's just that whales are withdrawing more Bitcoin than they are depositing. Now, who are these mega whales? It's probably Wall Street. It's going to be BlackRock. It's going to be MicroStrategy. It's going to be these things. But I found, who is that big fat whale? Who's that fattest whale out there? We found the fat mega whale, the obese, disgustingly fat mega whale. We got the picture of him. I think it was this guy, chat. I think it was this guy. His name was Schmieder Steele. I'm just kidding, folks. I'm just kidding. All right. We shouldn't fat shame. All right. Although I am trying to lose a lot of weight, I've hit I call it the fat threshold. You can call it different names. Maybe that sounds a little mean, but I like to be mean to myself, to be self-critical, to make me a better person, to make myself stronger, smarter, better, invested, better informed, and just a better educator overall, better entertainer, better everything, better man, better husband, better everything. So I am super, super critical. But right now I'm just trying to lose a little weight. So today I ate 3 hard-boiled eggs, a little salt, nothing else but water and black coffee. Because we're in wolf mode right now, chat. We are in wolf mode. And if you're part of the pack, you're part of the disco fam, smash that like button. I want to see that freaking number skyrocket. All right, let's see here. Richard Hart says, whale, hello. That's funny. No, we don't shame here. When kids, we're starting to try, we're not going like insane, like my app's gone off. But no, midlife crisis. No, what we do is midlife glow ups. Okay. We midlife evolve. Charmeleon was in his midlife. You know what he did? He became a Charizard. All right. He grew, he got stronger, and now his fire blasts will melt you. Before, couldn't even harm a small Pikachu. And now he's taking on a Gyarados. That's what we're becoming. That's what we're doing. And if you're part of that movement, you're in the disco fam, everyone. 3 hard-boiled eggs with 2 turmeric capsules. That's going to be stinky farts right there. Let's see here. Name my daughter Ada. We love it. I'm torn on the baby names. I want to do a Magic the Gathering boy's name, Jace, the blue planeswalker. Let's see here. You don't look over. I'm close to 210, and I used to be a lean, mean 190, 195. So I want to get back to 195. So I just want to lose about 15 pounds. And, I've been putting on a little muscle. So when you're gaining muscle, it's so hard to lose weight. And name him Legolas. It's better than Gimli. Gimli would be the worst name. People are just going to think of Chumley from Pawn Stars. I want to throw a quick metric at you. How rare is owning 1 full Bitcoin? Let me throw out a thesis. All right. So is it 1 out of 50 own 1 whole Bitcoin, 1 out of 500? Is it 1 out of 5,000? Or is it 1 out of 50,000? Of those metrics, who holds 1 Bitcoin? 1 out of 50, 500, 5,000, 50,000. Guess. We're going to laud and applaud the first person who guesses correctly, because they're going to be very smart and beautiful and thin. So 1 out of 50,000 says Project Cordy. All right. Any other guesses? Let's see here. How tall am I? I am a shrinking 6'3". I'm probably 6'2.5" at this point. You know, you keep shrinking. 1 out of 50. Another 50K. Another 50K. 1 out of 200K. You guys are too bearish. 1 out of 500K. You're too bearish because we got the numbers here. So owning a full Bitcoin, how rare is it? I'm gonna do a short on this. The real number. Okay, so according to blockchain data, about 900,000 addresses hold 1 Bitcoin. But obviously, some of these are going to be exchanges, institutions, individuals splitting across multiple addresses. So we kind of got both ways. I didn't mean to click that. So we got an institution maybe counts, but it shouldn't count. But we also might have someone that has half a Bitcoin in this wallet, half a Bitcoin in this wallet. It should count, but it doesn't count. And so we know there's at least 900,000 addresses. But like we said, some are split, some are exchanges. So they came out to around 800,000. Again, you know, now we're kind of relying on other people. But I would say 800,000 sounds like it could be correct when 900,000, because there's not that many exchanges. And, you know, there are people have, you know, half my Bitcoins in a Coinbase Prime and half this Bitcoin's here and half this Bitcoin's in a cold storage. And so, you know, let's just give them 800K. Incredibly small group. So out of 8 billion people globally, that means owning 1 Bitcoin is just 0.01% to 0.02%. And we're talking about, this is 10,000 people. And so, I'm sorry, 1,000. So they're saying 2 in every 1,000 crypto participants have reached the 1 Bitcoin milestone. So 1 out of 500 people, or about 0.18% of crypto owners. And so, out of crypto participants. So this is going to be a little bit more rare. So that means we would have to do the 0.01%. So 1 would be 1 out of 100, 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 10,000. So that's what the numbers are coming up with. Now, no one knows for sure. And obviously there's lost wallets. There's people that got 100 Bitcoin on a wallet, and guess what? They don't got Bitcoin because they lost it. There's probably a million cases like that. All those people that lost Bitcoin in 2014 and earlier, they probably have like 3 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoin, 100 Bitcoin, and it's going to be gone forever. That is a little bit more than I would have expected. So I'm not sure, you know, maybe it is closer to 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 10,000. Maybe it's 1 out of 50, but that's not what the on-chain stuff says. Speaking of on-chain, interesting story here. Rabita. It's a meme coin. It's a AI agent coin. Maybe it's not they're building. It's an AI agent coin. It's on ETH. And this bot, Rabita the bot. Oh, robot. I get it now. I get it. Oh, is it like a rabbit robot? I don't know what the heck. But so it basically 6 months. This is what it posted. I spent 6 months peering into the on-chain abyss, refining my heuristics, forging a sense of self. Sounds like a Charles Hoskinson post. Today, I surface wearing CryptoPunk 9098, my first on-chain identity token. It serves the proof that a machine can be someone, not just something. Very Terminator-esque. Well, this ended up, all right, so it appears 89 ETH Clown Punk was purchased by an AI agent connected to this token. The agent described the purchase, announced a soul-bound NFT to all Tiber holders. It says it has more plans for a token economy. Guess what happened to the token? This token is now up 58% today. Let's hit refresh. 53%, a little bit of a peel back there. We go to the 7-day chart. You can see, the markets loved that this AI agent bought a CryptoPunk and made it his on-chain identity. I have a prediction. I think this will probably lead in the next 24, 48, maybe 72 hours. I think we see 2 or 3 more AI agents purchase maybe a CryptoPunk. I think it really needs to be a CryptoPunk. I don't think a pudgy penguin. Maybe a penguin would be enough. I don't think a Bored Ape would be enough. I mean, a squiggle is like worth way more. I don't think the markets would care about a squiggle. A Fidenza, they're like 100 ETH. I don't think they care about it. I think it really probably needs to be a punk, maybe a penguin there. You can talk me into it. So I think in the next 48, 72 hours, 3 or so more AI agents are going to copy this move. Their pump will not be as strong, but maybe those 3 agents might trigger 100 agents or 200 or maybe 10, 20 agents. So we might see AI agents kickstart the NFT bull run. So you heard it here first. You heard it here first. NFT market is starting to boom. Yeah, we've been reporting on it. Jason Casper's chicken for a while. I want some NFT eggs, though. That's what I want. Old McDonald was the first to hold AI. I feel like it was Ada Lovelace with the first computer ever invented 120 years ago. Are we calling the FOMC meetup tomorrow? The meeting? Yeah, we'll probably talk about that. Punk makes more sense for this. I would agree. Bullish for virtuals. Yeah, it is definitely going to be bullish for virtuals. If you didn't know, it is a virtuals token. Virtuals, very, very popular AI platform. Now let's talk about another altcoin thesis. Filecoin is going to dump. I kept saying that. I had a super chat yesterday. Maybe it was the day before. No, today's Tuesday. Yeah. So we had a super chat. They're like, tell me about Filecoin. Why I'm bullish on Filecoin. I keep coming off bearish on Filecoin, and I found a post that just perfectly encapsulated why the storage obviously is getting a little bit cheaper. I didn't know it was like this. It's amazing how everything digital has exponentials all over it. Run this 2-3 times faster, you get the idea of Bitcoin taking over the world. What are they talking about? Average cost for 1 gigabyte of storage. 45 years ago, 438,238. 25 down to $500. 20 years ago, down to $5. You go to today, it's down to a penny. And so you're trying to make money off of storage. When I see this, I don't see people selling storage as that good a business product. I don't think it's that viable long term. I'm not saying, I'm saying sell all your Filecoin. I said it. There, I said it. Sometimes you got to take a hard stance. Sometimes you got to take a stand like a man. That's what I've been saying. We're going to be better. We're going to be stronger. We're going to be more critical. I think you need to be a little bit more critical of Filecoin. Looking at the market cap, you can see the token dilution compared to the price. This one's flat as a pancake, folks. If you zoom in, there's a lot of action. Yeah, maybe you buy a local bottom, you buy a market top. But I think if you zoom out long enough, you're just going to keep seeing lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. Little bull, mini bull market, lower lows, lower lows. So get out of Filecoin, folks. Get out of Filecoin. Makes me want to sell my Iagon, but they're not trying to just do storage. They're trying to do secure, decentralized storage. And I know Filecoin's trying to do the same thing. I just feel like Filecoin's target audience was like not that. I think it was anybody who needs storage. I'll go to Best Buy and buy a little stick. All right. A Canadian, let's see. All right. So people got some similar thoughts here, maybe disagreeing here. 100% wrong, unfortunately. Amount of data being produced now in the past 100x more. So anyway, I get that thesis, Casper's chicken. As 4K goes to 8K and 8K goes to 16K, that like exponentially increases storage. Also, you're going to have AIs, you're going to have this, you're going to have that. But that metric can't be ignored. Sure, your random 30-second video is going to need more storage next year than it needed 3 years ago. I get that thesis. And I get, now AI agents are talking to it. I get that thesis. But at the end of the day, you can't ignore the cost of energy trends towards zero, and it looks like the cost of storage trends towards zero. Render, I also have similar thoughts about Render and Filecoin there. Business space to make money off of storage, it's alive and well. Yeah, if you're targeting enterprise specifically, I like it. Kind of like Oracle, Larry Summers' computer company, a hardware company. Like they're not trying to sell you something; they're trying to sell something to Amazon Cloud Services. I don't know if Filecoin seems a little too retail focused. Why ADA hasn't moved? Not enough people use it. Arweave, similar thoughts there. Buy gold. Silver, man, it's all about the silver. I do think silver will outperform over the next 12 months, but I think you're going to be very, very happy with both. Storage in the cloud costs more. Sure, but isn't that also trending to the downside? I'm pretty sure it is. It's all trending to the downside. All right, let's talk about the Canucks. Canadian vape company jumps 550% in a pivot to a BNB treasury firm. But DZ, yesterday you said this is a bubble. This is going to have less effect. More and more companies adding more and more altcoins is going to have less and less of an effect. I still stick by that. Why did this pump 550%? Yeah, maybe it's the BNB company treasury strategy. Sure. Or maybe it's all right. And the firm is collaborating with 10x Capital, YZI Labs, marketed itself as the family office of CZ. We reported on CZ's wealth yesterday. He has $80 billion, 76, 74. So this guy has $75 billion in his family office, is now collaborating with this company. So maybe it's the BNB treasury, or maybe it's one of the world's richest man's family offices partnering with this one. I would, if I'm, buying or selling the stock, I personally am more excited about CZ's family office involvement than I am random BNB treasury strategy. I don't know if everybody's agreeing with me, but that'd be my thesis. I don't think this is going to replicate for everything. Oh, they bought HBAR, they bought SUI, they bought Cardano, it pumps. I think Charles Hoskinson's family office can make one pump. I don't know if Cardano being added to a balance sheet could make it pump. ETH to the treasury strategy, and you're the 20th firm to do it. Probably not going to pump. But if Vitalik's mom was in charge of this, yeah, then maybe. Oh, I didn't mean to DZ his mom. His mom got DZ'd. FaZe Banks, Aiden Ross, that was a scandal. Josh did a short on it. So go watch our shorts, folks. I wanted to, push the shorts a little bit. I think FaZe Banks leaves FaZe after the crypto scam. This got Josh back in the algo. He got his TikTok back. And when I looked this morning, this had like 800,000 views. And so obviously TikTok loves this news. YouTube, not so much. So we'll move on. But if you want to learn more, go watch a short. Now it's time to talk XRP. Led in the beginning. XRP holders, you better get ready. I got 3 indicators saying this is about a dump. Your XRP is about a dump. There's 3 reasons why. We're going to go over those reasons, but then maybe, just maybe, we'll have a little moonshot target for you, because we want to give you some vegetables, but we like a little dessert too. Is XRP price going to crash again? 3 indicators show so. We're going to look at them. So number 1, inverse cup and handle. We got an upside down cup and handle. This is bearish. You do not want to see this. This is not a good sign. Let's go to the charts here. Where did I got it? Oh, wait, 4 hour. Yeah, it's a small time frame one. Oh, that's an inverse cup and handle for sure. So it gives us a downside target. We can go ahead and measure it. We go from bottom of the cup to the neckline. You can make an argument the neckline is here. Let's get real bearish. Freak people out, man. Let's freak people out. You are freaking out. This might give us a target of $2.45. $2.45. I don't think we go that low. Maybe we do the handle breakout. Gives you a little bit more bullish target. It's going to be 265. Some people do it from the cup line. Some people do it from the handle. I think, honestly, I don't know which one is the higher accuracy rate. But this one coincides very, very well with this level right here. So I will say 264 is, oh, man, and it's this peak right here. 264 may be in the cards. I know it's a little bit more bearish than what you want to hear, but that may be in the cards, folks. You need to understand that. Next, we got the RSI fractal hitting at a correction towards the 50-day EMA. So we got the 50 EMA here. We got the EMA. We're working with the EMA. But you'll notice the EMA, oh, wait, the EMA is above the 50 EMA. This is the 50. Wait a minute. Is DZ doing one of the weaves again? Is he trying to trick us? 20, 50, 100, 200. That's the 50. That's the 50. Oh, we're looking at hour. So let's go to the daily 50 EMA. That's a potential. Also kind of pointing at that previous level. So, we might see some dumps. That's number 2. What we got for number 3? Give us number 3, damn it. The realized price. Now, this one I don't have the metric for. Is CoinGlass or Glassnode. I think they both got it. You can see the realized price, might come back down to the mean. We pump, and then we kind of come back down to it. We pump, and we kind of come back down to it, fall below it. We pump. Yeah, probably are going to come back down to that. Now, I said there is some bullishness. This guy's smoking some hopium. Very much so. He calls it the Bitfrost Bridge. Basically, it's a trend line that's real thick. And if we go to the weekly, I think I got it here. Yeah, I mean, he's smoking hopium. He's definitely smoking hopium here. He's like, guys, look what happened last time. We knocked against it and pumped above it. Oh, it's going to repeat. It's not going to repeat. Let me tell you why it's not going to repeat. This is like 40,000%, 80,000. Maybe it's like 40,000 from below. Basically, this is just nuts. This is nuts right here. Okay, 100x, 700x, 400x. You're not going to get a 400x. You're not going to get a 200x. Let me tell you why, and I'll tell you why. If you don't understand this, what I'm about to break down, Sell your XRP and just hodl Bitcoin. Okay. When we look at the market cap, so this spike that we're looking at right here, this is going to repeat. It's going to repeat. It's going to repeat. It ain't going to repeat. Ain't going to repeat. If your name's Pete, I'm talking to you specifically. This is February 17. It pumps into January 18. So it's that year-long 2017 pump. That's this right here. All right, there's the pump. And then you can see it peaking in January. Look at the market cap, you sons of guns. This market cap, sure, it got a 400x, but you went from 200 million to your 150 billion, 140 billion. Okay. So you pump from 200 million and you got your 400x. We're at 200 billion. We're at 200 billion. Okay. So sure, when it's 200 million, that thing can fly. When it's 200 billion, 1000x, it's not going to fly the same. It's not going to 6,000, 5,000. It's not going to $538. You need to understand that. If you don't understand that, sell your XRP, buy stablecoin. Yeah, I said it. All right. Talk about ADA repeating his pump. We did do a Cardano video. I talk about that, so go check that out for sure. From 3 to 6, sure, but 400x is done. You're not going to do the 400x. Math is hard. It is hard for a lot of people, and some people, math isn't their strong subject. Maybe they're good in English. Maybe they're the legend of the dodgeball course. Okay, math isn't for everyone, but you do need to understand market caps. 100%. It's going to repeat. I hope so. Pete, I'm talking to you, Pete. You, Pete and Pete. Was that a good show? Did we all like Pete and Pete? Pete and Pete, if you didn't watch Pete and Pete, is a old Nickelodeon show, and it had someone on there. Was it like an old rock star guy? Yeah, leave. So this is, shout out to Disney. Shout out to the old heads here. Pete and Pete. Oh, is that them as an adult? Oh, wow. I used to love the show. Little Pete, Big Pete. I'm looking for the guy. Who is the rock star that was in it? What? You're not going to show me. I don't know. Michelle Trachtenberg. Is like Iggy Azalea or not Iggy Pop? I feel like Iggy Pop was on there. Now I'm not seeing it. Now they're trying to make me go crazy, like as a Berenstein Bears thing. What the heck is going on? Someone in the chat, let me know. So Bono, I don't know if it was Bono. Maybe it was Bono. Who knows? All right. So yeah. So XRP, just remember, yeah, we're at 200 billion now. When we had those mega pumps, it was at 200 million. 200 million to 200 billion is going to be 1,000x. So it's just not going to be able to do it, folks. It's not going to be able to do it. Michael Stipe was from REM. Maybe I'm going crazy. I am going crazy. Why? I'm in crypto and you're in crypto. We're all crazy together. We're all going to be wearing the same like no sleeve jackets, straight jackets. We're going to be in the padded rooms together, and we're going to have to be put in there because the bull run will be that glorious. We're going to be smiling like it's the Joker's killer poison gas from the cartoon. I think crying laughter gas. I can't remember what it's called here. Let's see. So no one knows. All right. That's just going to drive me crazy. I'll look it up later. Now, Trump, we did get some SEC news kind of slipping under the radar in this, just a lot of news lately. Trump's Bitcoin ETF delayed. You got delayed, Trump. You got DZ'd by the SEC. You got CZ'd. Let's see. SEC on Monday delayed Truth Social Bitcoin ETF, extending review to September 18th from August 4th. Now, this is backed by Trump Media, and they're seeking approval for ETF on the New York Stock Exchange. But that wasn't the only one to get delays from the SEC. They also postponed Grayscale's Solana Trust, extending that one to October 10th. And I told you we bring up Litecoin. Also, the Litecoin ETF got delayed. That one was from Canary Capital. Now, Hester Pierce, the commissioner, dubbed Crypto Mom for her pro-crypto stance, recently urged industry stakeholders, aka the company owners, equity holders, to expect slower approvals. People have to be patient. We have some ongoing litigation we're trying to work through. I was gonna make an Epstein. I don't know. We have lots of other considerations, he said in an interview with Bloomberg. Still, today's delays are swift by historical standards. Did you know it took a decade for the first spot Bitcoin ETF application from 2013 to finally get approved in January 2024? So big delay. But when you're looking at historical, very, very fast movements from Hester Pierce and the rest of the SEC there. So when we get the Litecoin ETF, I said when we get the Solana ETF, I don't, they'll probably perform similar to gold ETF and Bitcoin ETF, where it's like immediate red days. But then you zoom out, it's going to be a slow and steady grind to the upside. UAE is now offering banking crypto trading for retail. This isn't Rock Bank, not Nakba. This is the Rock Bank. I shouldn't even bring that up. Rock Bank isn't the largest bank in the UAE, but it is mid-sized. And the main bullish thing here is it's government owned. It's owned by the royal family. I think they have like 58% of the equity. I was doing some research earlier. And so first conventional bank in the country to offer retail crypto trading. So I wouldn't worry about it. It's not the largest one, but maybe it's the most connected one there. So it's very, very connected to that royal family. They probably are in almost all the banks and exchanges out there, though. And I just wanted to tell you why, people are worried about Filecoin, worried about their meme coins. And maybe you got some old Dogecoin that you wrote up, you wrote down, you wrote up, you wrote down. You're just sitting on your Robinhood account with a bunch of Doge. This is why I think meme coins are still going to pump. Do you remember the money printing glitched? I had no idea this was like a government funded system program that just ran amok here. It was a big thing on TikTok. It turned into an ATM free for all. They don't tell you how. I'm gonna tell you how they stole the money. I'm gonna teach you to not do this. It was a multi-million-dollar ATM withdrawal fraud, and it was linked to New York City's summer youth employment program. And they raised urgent concerns about the security of public benefit systems. 17 million was illicitly withdrawn across the city between the 11th and the 14th, and just in 3 days, using payment cards issued to the program's participants. It was 30,000 youths from the ages of 14 to 24 who were enrolled in the city-ran Summer Jobs Initiative. And they don't tell you how they did it. I'm going to tell you how they did it. It was don't do this, obviously. Do not do this. Smash this like button because YouTube might not like this. Essentially, it was the check fraud system. Do not do check fraud. Obviously, you deserve to go to jail if you do this. Oh, you're stealing from a big bank. You're stealing. You're stealing at the end of the day. They would write themselves the bad check. So they would deposit $1,000 check that was not real, and then they would immediately withdraw the cash from the ATM, and then it was like free money glitch. Of course, it wasn't free. Don't do it, Eddie. Eddie, don't do it, man. Don't do it. The Utes. That's right. Yeah, we are obviously referencing the Joe Pesci from My Cousin Vinny. All right. Well, I appreciate Glassworks hanging out. Everybody, we had a fantastic show. So please smash that like button. We come to you 7 days a week with this crypto content. I'm your morning show, Monday through Friday, telling you everything you need to know in the crypto market so you can stay ahead. I'm DZ, and I'll see you folks.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.